Welcome to Mentoring Made Easy overview of what this program was all about. I'm so excited it's here, all my years of coaching and mentoring all in the one place. So if you're eager to find out what mentoring is all about, the basics, so you're new to mentoring or you want a refresher, this is the right place to be. This program gives you the practical skills. So the first module is really about setting you up for the program. It's 4 hours of content on self-paced online program, videos of me running you through a lesson, what to learn in terms of skill. I demonstrate and model what mentoring looks like, and then you get a chance to practice. So 4 hours worth of content, and 4 hours you practice with a mentee throughout the program. So I'm guiding you what to do with your mentee. So by the end of it, you'll have some really basic skills that are the important skills to know in how to mentor. The second module is around looking at what the difference is between coaching and mentoring. And what I've done here in this program is how to use a coaching approach to mentoring. Because, sometimes people think mentoring is just download your wisdom, tell them everything you know, and they're a cup to be filled up. That's actually not the best way to mentor. Find out what they know first. So, what I'm setting you up to do here is be flexible in your conversation. Sometimes you might need to be a coach, sometimes you might need to be a mentor. So, we'll be looking at what's the difference between that. Then I go into the first element of what makes mentoring coaching work, which is how do you structure the conversation? How do you begin? What is it you do in the middle of the conversation? And how do you wrap up? And then how do you start the next lesson? Or not lesson, the next mentoring conversation. There's certain things you can do that actually sets you up well, sets your mentee up well to what to focus on. So we'll be going through the structure. Fourth module is all about establishing a preferred future. And what I often find when I'm training leaders to be coaches or training mentors to be more coach-like, that they want to get into the how they're going to move forward too fast without really defining what are you aiming for here? What would the end of this mentoring experience be like for you? What are your best hopes? And what does that look like in concrete detail? So we're going to spend some time, how do you unpack that? I'll model it, I'll demonstrate it, and then you ought to have it practice. And then we're on the fifth module. What do you do in the follow-up sessions? How do you begin a next conversation, next session with your mentee? What do you say in your opening? Because your questions determine where you go in the conversation. So the opening is the most important piece of asking them what progress have they made. And then the sixth module is the second element, which is 5 really good conversational skills. How do you listen? How do you build trust and rapport? How do you show empathy? How do you give and receive feedback? In this program, I'm only covering off 2 of those because I think they're the most important ones, which is how do you listen in a non-judgmental way, and how do you we are going to touch on asking questions because we're going to be looking at the difference between solution-focused question and problem-focused question. But the real deep dive we're going to do into how do you build trust? Yeah. How do you create this safe space for people to share and be vulnerable? And it's all about, what you do, how you demonstrate that you're actually listening and it's safe for them to open up. So we'll be having some practices around that. And then the seventh module is around this coaching and mentoring way of being. How do you show up for the conversation? Are you open? Are you interested? Are you curious? Are you non-judgmental? Which I think is the key one. So we'll be looking at how you can be conscious of what you do when you show up for the conversation. And then there's the wrap up, the last module, which is module 8. And that is all about giving you some more resources, some books to read, some articles to read, some YouTube clips to listen to, and some templates to use with your mentees. So some real resources that you can take a deeper dive. So all up, it probably will take about 4 hours to complete the content. And then you've got coaching practices and mentoring practices on top of that, which is about 4 hours. So all up about 8 hours. And I predict if you're super keen, you probably could get it done in 4 weeks. If you want it to take a more longer approach, more less stressful approach, I'd go, you could stretch it out to 8 weeks, but it also depends on your availability of your mentee. The other big key part of the program is you're going to be reflecting, and you're also going to be watching yourself video. You're going to video your mentoring conversation just twice, at the beginning, at the end. So you've got a benchmark to start and a benchmark at the end, how much you've progressed. It's nothing like seeing ourselves in videos. So that's a really important piece, as well as what I said earlier, the reflection. There's lots of reflection in it, because the more self-aware you can be as a mentor, the better you're going to be at it. So that's it. That's what the program's covering. In how it's structured, we'll be looking at video lesson. I'll be modeling it in the video. Then you'll do a worksheet that's attached to each of those lessons. So it's all up about 34, 35 videos to watch of me demonstrating what it looks like. And then you get some coaching cards, which are your prompts to use when you're working with your mentee. And lastly, having to find someone to mentor, and strongly suggest someone who's really eager to actually make progress on their career. So hopefully you're enthused about doing this program. It won't disappoint you. There's lots of practical skills you'll gain from it. So hope to see you in the program, and I will support you through a webinar halfway through so that you can have all your questions answered. Hope to see you in the program.